our own innocence. We didn't expect it. We were so unsuspecting. Some of us participated in it without knowing what we were doing. And to understand it, there's 200 years of history you're going to have to look at. 1400 to 1600. It's the major turning point in world history. At the end of these 200 years, the world would never, ever be the same again. Europe had come out of its bag. It had rescued itself at our expense. It had learned longitude and latitude again. Had learned how to handle ships. They had, in their search for Asia and the spices and the sweets of Asia, they had discovered Africa en route, the greater prize. We are the victims of our own innocence. We didn't expect it. We were so unsuspecting. Some of us participated in it without knowing what we were doing.
Big guy, I got the game on the chokehold like a slip knot. Too much ambition, I got too much drive. I'm probably due for a pitch stop. Black dot, reppin' the team, reppin' the squad like a mascot. Yeah, I'm the one, you know that I got it, but I still speak for the have-nots. Big guy, I got the game on the chokehold like a slip knot. Too much ambition, I got too much drive. I'm probably due for a pitch stop. Black dot, reppin' the team, reppin' the squad like a mascot. Yeah, I'm the one, you know that I got it, but I still speak for the have-nots. Yeah. It's been a hell of a run. I done bagged all of the women I wanted to bag. I probably should slow down and settle with one. Probably should hit up my mama and tell her my problem. She always wanna pray for her son. Tell her I got it, there's nothing your God could do for me. I feel much more safe with a gun. Look what I've done, just look at what I've become. They thought I was stuck in the mud, I done came up. They gotta pay like I weigh, I made them double the funds. Niggas be hating, probably cause they wifey like me and she wanna give me the buns. She got a friend, told her that she can come too because two heads is better than one. My competition is none.
Good evening, it's your boy Sean P in the place to be.
Hey,
I have yours truly, Miss Kim.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you good. You
no
got
echo?
Yeah, I hear the echo. It's only because you're like on a Google.
I'm on my phone.
Yeah, StreamYard sent me a notification. It said if you had headphones on, it'll kill the echo. But it's okay. I think we can hear you pretty good.
Okay, I have headphones.
Okay, yeah, if you can put them on there, it'll eliminate the echo.
Hold on, do I have to have a microphone and all that, or just regular headphones?
Just a headphone.
Let me go get them. I'll be right back.
Okay. So while she's going to get her headphones, y'all, we will. What's up with everybody, man? Please like the show, share the show, tell a friend we're live. I appreciate everybody tapping in. Should be a few more people coming in, man, and we're gonna get the interview process started. YK the Truth dropped a video today going over the descent of scientific descent for Darwinism. If you haven't checked that out, feel free to do so. And you know, we're gonna handle our business accordingly. So we're gonna give the earbuds a test run real quick. Okay, Kim.
All right. Is that any better?
We hear you.
Okay. The echo?
We can manage that. Wow. You're okay though. It's because of StreamYard. StreamYard. It's not. It's StreamYard.
Okay, that's cool. This technology, I've never done this before, okay?
Oh no.
So I'm not used to this, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah. All right, so you what?
Yes.
Okay. We're testing. Let's see. Take your earbuds out. No. Plug them back in real quick. I'm testing something.
Oh, leave that in. Okay. Cool. All right.
Okay. Say your name. Say your name. No, I'll take them out. I'll take them out.
Take it out.
Yeah, take them out. Take them out.
Oh, just get.
Now you can plug them. You were better with them unplugged.
Okay.
All right. So before we get started, I want you to, introduce yourself. Don't go too far. Just give them a little brief introduction, and we're going to get into some things, and then we'll build on what we need to build on, and we'll let people know that you here, okay?
All right then.
And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute and see if they help the listening audience so they don't hear the feedback.
Oh, okay.
All right. So can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. My name is Kimberly Bell. Okay. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. I live in Dayton, Ohio right now. I have grown kids. I have grandkids, and I'm an Air Force brat, and I was in the military myself. Basically, that's pretty much what's going on. I like to learn. I like reading. I'm a professional belly dancer. I'm into spirituality. And I'm very, very protective over this my African identity. Okay. And it's pretty interesting how you put in the flyer, you said, is she really African? I want to get into that because that's going to be tricky. Okay. With me, it's going to be tricky. So basically, that's it. There's a lot to get into, but you know how we are. we don't have an attention span for nothing too long. But anyway, this stuff that's going on with these abos, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna mute you for just a second, and then I'm gonna bring you back, okay? So we can eliminate the echo. We're gonna work around it because if I mute, they don't hear echo. So we're good. All right, so I'm gonna mute you for just a second. Now y'all heard her, okay? Tacoma, Washington. She got kids, grandkids, right? She into spirituality. Okay, she here today to set the record straight. There's some tricky things that's going on. Tacoma, Washington, if you're unfamiliar, there is some genetic influence in that corner, right? That takes over there in that corner. So this is going to be a very interesting story. If this is your first time to the channel, please like the show, share the show. We know that a few more people will be coming in, but what we're going to do is this. We heard her introduction, right? It's intriguing. We want to know more about Kimberlyz World. So we're going to get into Kimberlyz World. So my opening statement, well, question, not a statement, my opening question to you, Kim, would be your journey. What led you in the direction that you're in now? And what have you learned along the way? Hold on, before you go, let me unmute you. There you go.
Okay, so you want to know what got me going on this abo journey or the DNA journey?
Your journey to spirituality. And then we're gonna get into the abo stuff a little bit later. Right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as my spirituality is concerned, I was raised like how all of us we Christian. You know that, right? My mom's from the South and my dad's from up north, and they were both Christian, but they were always African first. Okay. The Bible didn't raise me. My parents raised me. We went to church on Sunday. We did all of that stuff. But when it came down to it, My mom and dad raised us. They hooked us up. There was no pictures of Jesus in the house, none of that stuff. But my parents are very religious, very spiritual. And I dropped out of Christianity, though. I left Christianity about a year ago, okay? Because it just never made sense to me. So right now, I am a practicing witch. I practice, I go by, I have a channel called West African Witch. And I say West African Witch simply because my genome, I'm 81% Sub-Saharan African and Bantu, okay? West African Witch has nothing to do with African spirituality because them Africans ain't playing witchcraft over there. You talk that over there, they're gonna chop your head off. It's just me connecting with my my DNA, my ancestry, part of who I am, my admixture. So I practice as a West African witch, which is it's a lot of meditation, it's discipline, a lot of discipline, a lot of studying, and a lot of learning. Yes, we do spells. Yes, we do meditations and incantations. We do all of that stuff. My altar is right behind me. I'm working on some stuff right now, as a matter of fact. So that's my spirituality. Okay, left Christianity, left the Catholic Church, and we just did what comes natural. So now I'm a practicing witch, and I'm very comfortable with it. And so that's my spirituality right there.
All right, now I'm on music position. All right, so now that we got an understanding that you made a clear demarcation in your spiritual system, you basically stated the witch aspect is part of your identity that comes from a different background. And you stated you can't talk the witch stuff over there in West Africa because that goes in a whole nother direction. So I just wanted to make those two things clear because a lot of people superimpose the word witch into African traditions, and that is further from the truth. But it looks like even in your departure from the church, you've already made those demarcations and distinctions to leave one thing as one thing and another as another. So I don't want to get too far into that because, you know, my brother Black Panther, he's in the tradition. He practices Isheshe, and he is a priest himself. So that's a conversation that he could get into that probably could draw other things out if he joins us this evening. But I wanted to talk about it because you said you're 81% Sub-Saharan African, right? So let's since you took it there, let's just go right into your DNA, and then we can bring that back into the fold to tell your historical perspective so people can know who you are, what you are, and how you come to be Kimberlyz World.
Okay, getting into my DNA. Yeah, I'm 81% Sub-Saharan African. Within that 81% of Sub-Saharan, a good chunk of that is coming out of Kenya. So I've got a good chunk of East African ancestry coming out of Kenya with the Lahuya people. The rest is going to be like we all have Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone. I'm hooked up with the Isan and the Yoruba of Nigeria. And I'm hooked up also with the Fulani, and there's another tribe I'm with, the Fulani and somebody else, and a lot of Cameroon, Congo. You know how we are, west coast of Africa, Guinea. And I also I've got North African ancestry. I got 1% North African ancestry, and that is hooked up with the Berbers, the Temimun Berbers, the Zenata Berbers of the Temimun Oasis. I have ancestry with the Shahari Berbers of Morocco, and I also have Sephardic. I got a lot of Jewish stuff going on, but if you want to hold back on that, we can hold back on all of that. But yeah, so my African ancestry is literally Pan-African because I'm literally all over Africa. I'm just not rocking with South Africa that bad, which I wanted to, but I'm not. So it's mostly East Africa, West Africa, and then my 1% of North Africa with the Berbers and the Sephardic Jews.
Okay, so what about the other 19% of your DNA? What is that composed of?
Okay, we got a little bit of we got a decent chunk of Scotland and Ireland, Eastern Europe, Russia, you know, those that Eastern bloc with the Russians and the Romanians, the Poland, the Rhineland, Germany, Central Europe, all that stuff. And we got a little bit of the Caribbean going on there. I've got some Caribbean in the Bahamas. And I also have Scotland and Ireland, Sweden and Denmark. And the Native American, a little bit of that Native American going on there. We got that. A lot of us have that. And East Asia.
How much you think of your admixture of the remaining 19% is Native American?
Oh, it's very small. It's like, it's not even 1%. It's not even a whole percent, because it goes way back, and I can go into all of that. And I also have West Asian and Levantine, Israel, Syria, all that stuff. That's my trace ancestry. Okay. You can get into that too.
So with a little bit of that ancestry that you said you had, that 1%, and well, 19% of your genetic admixtures are not of European and that. Let's hear your story, and let's see if your story matches your genetic admixture. But before we do that, what is your haplogroup?
My haplogroups. My father's haplogroup, he is R1b, downstream RM269, downstream RS675. That's my dad. My father's haplogroup originated in West Asia, and they migrated and they went over into India and Pakistan and Afghanistan. They migrated into the Pontic steppe, and now, presently now, there's a lot of them. They are in Ireland and Scotland. Okay. My mother's haplogroup is R, downstream H5H, downstream H536. Those women, my matrilineal line, they originated around India, Iran, and they migrated into the Fertile Crescent, went into Syria, Syro-Palestine, and they migrated into Central Europe. Now those women are in Germany. So actually, my trace ancestry, that is my mother and my father's haplogroup. Because when you look at it, my dad is haplogroup R, originating in West Asia. My mother is haplogroup R. She's coming out of India and the Fertile Crescent. So they're literally, which is rare, because you don't see a maternal and a paternal haplogroup sharing the same letter, coming from the same area. That there's no one else, no other groups do that except those two, and I've got them. So I don't descend from Africans. On my mom's immediate side, I don't descend from Africans, and on my dad's side, I don't descend from Africans. Okay. So that's how I said it's interesting how you put on that flyer, is she really African? But I identify, that's my identity. Okay. I identify as a sub-Saharan African Bantu, because I'm rocking with those Bantus. But I understand the roles and the difference between haplogroups and admixture. Your haplogroup is going to take you where your direct line of descent. Your admixture, the circle with all the colors and all the numbers, that's nothing but who your people mixed with. You cannot get your line of descent by using admixture. You've got to turn to your haplogroups. What is your paternal haplogroup, Sean?
Well, I have the J marker on I have the J marker on one side, and then the EM2 on the other side.
Okay, that's okay. So you got that J marker, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I got that in my family too.
She traveled on into West Africa and got her some Mandingo. She had to have it. Mike Lee movie.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
That's interesting. So your paternal line is, you got the J marker for your paternal line.
Yeah.
Okay. See, my mother's maternal grandfather, he's a J marker, and his last name is Cohen. And I've got Kohanim ancestry as well. I took a test and I'm hooked up with the Kohanim. So you may want to find out, you can take a chromosome analysis test and get detailed information, because a chromosome analysis, they're going to go deeper than 23andMe. They're going to go deeper than ancestry.com. Okay. You take a chromosome analysis test, they're gonna shake that family tree, and all kind of stuff gonna start dropping off. Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason that I asked you about your haplogroups, now we can get into your historical story. We can start to put it all together. When you asked me what was mine, I know how the J shows up, and it's very relevant as it pertains to the transit and the Holocaust of our ancestors and our existence here. And with newer evidence that is available to us now, it substantiates the story and the genetic admixture and everything else that we already knew. So here's the time that we're going to talk about. Yeah, it'll stop in a minute, Coach. It's a glitch in StreamYard. But now we want to know your history as it pertains to your existence and how Kimberly comes to be. We heard all this stuff about your genetic ancestry, this admixture and this and the third. Now, how do you end up in Washington?
Washington. Well, no, I was born there. I'm in Dayton, Ohio now.
Okay.
But yeah, I was born in Washington State. My father was in the Air Force. He was stationed in Tacoma, Washington, and I was born on a old World War II Army base, Madigan Army General. And since my dad was in the Air Force, we traveled around a lot. And he retired here in Dayton. So I'm back home in Dayton now. But you know, I went in the service myself. I went to school here in Ohio. I graduated high school, joined the military, ran crazy for a while, you know, spent time in Texas, came out of Texas with a kid, had a kid when I was in the military. And I came back to Dayton like about 6 years ago. I've been gone from home for a long time, but within that time span, you know, a lot of things happen, you know, to us. We go through a lot of things in different stages in our life. Right now, I'm 60 years. I just turned 60. So a lot of stuff's changing for me as far as, you know, I quit smoking, I quit drinking, I quit hanging in the streets. I all that stuff had to go, because you're getting older, you got to grow up. There's no need in doing that anymore. So what made me what I am right now is how I was raised, my mom and dad, how they raised us. Lots of morals, lots of values, okay? Discipline, self-control. I was raised in a very close family setting. My mom and my dad were there. I'm not from a broken home. And I knew my family history. I grew up in a home where my mom and dad always spoke about who their ancestors were. So I didn't come up not knowing who my great-grandmother was. I didn't come up like that. I knew who those people were, okay? I'm working on my family tree on Ancestry. I've got pictures that go way back to the 1700s, and those people were slaves. I don't care what anybody says, you know, and none of them ever said that they was an Indian. The one that did say they was an Indian was a Papago Pima Indian, and I got the DNA and all, and the paper. I got all that to show it. So coming from my home life, my parents didn't put up with any crap. So I'm not into this black culture. I'm not into that. Okay. I'm not into all this old crazy rap music. I'm not into all the mess that these niggas are into today. I'm not into that. I'm completely all of that stuff. I wasn't raised that way. So the reason what I call myself Kimberlyz World, because I'm into a lot of stuff. Okay. I'm into a lot of stuff. I'm a professional belly dancer. I've been doing that for over 20 years. I used to work in the medical field. I was a medical assistant. I've done hospice, all of that stuff. Right now, I work for a company that makes computer boards. So if you have anything in your home that needs a computer board, 10 to 1, our company made it and shipped it off. That's what I do now. I did a complete turnaround. I like to write. I just finished. I got a manuscript. I wrote a book, a witchcraft book. I just finished doing that. I'm studying languages. You know, I'm self-teaching myself a lot of stuff. And I watch you guys debate and talk. And I've learned a lot by watching you guys. Orthodox Moore, and Ngozi, you know the spiel. So when I made my channel, I called it Kimberlyz World because I'm not just focused on just being a witch. I have a channel that deals with my spiritual life. Okay, I didn't want to just do a channel focusing on whatever. So my Kimberlyz World channel, I got all kind of stuff on that channel, but the main thing I have on there is my DNA, and I have a playlist called Kimberly's DNA Journeys. And I've got some DNA videos on there that go in depth. I'm not playing around with this stuff. And I also have another channel, a separate channel. It's called We Are Bantu Girls. And that channel exists because of the Hebrew Israelites, those Black Hebrew Israelites. They're trying to take the Bantu expansion, the Bantu history and culture, and turn it into a bunch of Jews from Palestine. You're not going to take the Bantu. Do you know what the Bantu people did when they hit sub-Saharan Africa? They brought a lot of technology, a lot of culture and history went into the sub-Saharan Africa when the Bantu speakers got there. They did a lot. And these niggas, these Black Hebrew Israelites, they're teaching people that the Bantus, them ain't no Hamites. Those are Jews. They're not Jews. They speak a Niger-Congo language. You know, they don't speak a Semitic language. They're Niger-Congo speakers. They don't come from Palestine. So that channel that I have called We Are Bantu Girls, it focuses on bringing out information, scholarly information that is vetted and peer-reviewed that goes into the history of the Bantu speakers. And there's nothing in there that says they are aboriginal to Palestine. But I'm catching a lot of hell. I'm catching a whole lot of hell because continental Africans, some of them, and niggas here in America are trying to browbeat me into agreeing that the Bantu speakers originated in Palestine so they can call themselves our Jews. Because they don't want to be West African. They want to be crackers is what it is. They don't want to be Black. They don't want to be West African. They want to come from, they like North Africa, okay? They like Somalia and all that. But the minute you say Niger, Congo, and Nigeria, that's not me. I'm something else. So that's where Bantu Girls exist, because I'm battling these self-hate Negroes that want to be from the Levant, and they're not Levantine. Because I know their haplogroups and I've seen their DNA. They're right out of West Africa, and they hate it. So those are my 3 channels. Okay. And I'm coming off Kimberlyz World doing this show because it's just basic. Kimberlyz World is all over the place. But my witch channel, it specifically deals with being a witch, working, candle magic, stuff like that. And then, of course, my Bantu Girls channel. So that's how I ended up with this channel, Kimberlyz World. That's that for that.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute you for just a second so they can hear the question. All right, so you talked about your different channels and how you came to be. You told us a little bit about your family history, as far as your father, your military lifestyle, and how you moved around and things of that nature. You said you left. I want to go back to you left the church a year ago. All right. What influenced you? What was it about the church a year ago? Because I just want to bring it back in the twofold. You said, not to repeat your age, but you stated how old you were. And it took all the way up until that point a year ago that you decided to leave the church. What was the last straw?
I could never understand why is all this stuff in the Bible, but when you're in college history, collegiate history, when you're at the library reading history books, how come you never hear about these people outside the Bible? And that always bothered me. And I never could connect with Jesus. There was just something about him I just couldn't deal with. But I'm gonna tell you what finally just did it. Listening to I'm gonna tell you what did it. I started listening to a certain popular African American platform. I don't know if you want me to say people's names on your channel. I don't know, so I'm gonna just, keep it quiet on that. But there's a very popular African American. They say they're African American education identification, and they would host a lot of debates and discussions about Black people that were Christians, Black people that believe in the Judaism, and Black folks that believe in Islam. Never did fall for Judaism, never did fall for Islam, but I was raised Christian. So when this channel, when he started going in on and asking questions about the Bible to these Christians and these Jews and these believers that are of the African American diaspora, they could never answer. I mean, they were always getting, see what the Bible say. See, you just don't understand scripture. You don't know what you're reading. I'm like, these people cannot defend their own Bible. They can't answer questions about Jesus outside the Bible. They can't answer simple questions. They're running all around looking crazy. So I kept watching that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. But I'm gonna tell you the one that really did it. I'm gonna tell you the one that just kicked Jesus completely out the picture, and that's Chris Harris. I ain't gonna lie. I was listening to Chris Harris.
He watching.
He was going in on Jesus. He was talking about Jesus and all this stuff. He ain't this, and he should have got hung. He was breaking the laws. But the information that he brought out about Jesus, it answered my questions. I'm like, get on up out of here. The Bible had to go. Now, I don't hate Christianity. I don't hate, because there are people who bettered their lives through Christianity. No problem with that. It's just it wasn't for me. And what gave me the ability to go ahead and just chunk it was that popular channel. And even Garfield had something to do with it, because he was chewing them up too. But I don't know, something funny going on with him now. And then, of course, when Chris Harris started in on Jesus, because see, I got rid of Christianity, was getting rid of that Bible, but Jesus was still hanging in there. I got to get rid of him. They got rid of him, all right. So, just listening to what Chris Harris was saying about Jesus, the people couldn't answer the questions. And then when he did that debate with Tazariak, which just took him out, that's another thing that did it, because it just confirmed a lot of my suspicions about that religion and that book and that being called Jesus that never existed. All of those suspicions were confirmed by watching African American men on YouTube talking about this stuff, and then backing up what they're saying with proper sources. No feelings, no emotions, just hardcore sources, stuff that you cannot dispute. So that's why when I watch these Hebrews fighting for this religion that ain't got nothing to do with us, I don't understand how they can fight so much. So that's what did it, got me finally just severed all ties with the Christian faith. My suspicions were confirmed by watching the brothers on YouTube.
So that had to be a challenging change of events when it comes to your family, because they're used to seeing you at church on Sunday, singing, whatever you do, fellowshipping, and the lights. So how did your family take that immediate change at this point in your life?
My mom, they really didn't do anything, because I'm the oddball. As a matter of fact, the fact that I'm doing what I'm doing makes sense to them, because everybody has an oddball in the family. I'm that one. Okay. I'm the one that everybody goes, oh, okay, that's just Kimberly. That's me. So the things that I do, don't surprise them. Okay, so when I let them know that I'm just not with that no more, and I told them I am a witch. I was born that way. I've got Roma. I've got Romani gypsy ancestry too, by the way. I got gypsy coming out of them Romani gypsies. So it was just natural for me to go ahead and get into this work, living life as a witch, and getting rid of that Christian stuff. It's too heavy. It's too much. And my mom and dad, they didn't do anything. It didn't bother them because they're already, my dad just passed away. He was in his 80s. He just passed away 2 years ago. My mother is still here. She's 86. She's still here. And at that age, don't nothing surprise our elders. Nothing surprises them, you know. And they know me as a daughter, as a human being, as a mother and everything. And they know that I'm not going to hell. So that's the end of that tune.
Okay, so let's get to the nitty-gritty. You've mentioned this a couple of times, but I want to get directly into it. So I seen the other day in these YouTube streets, and I was combing through your video, and I'm sure you know what video it was because I played it the other day with the Mansa Moose on the map and all of that. So I just hit the comments because I wanted to see who was in the comments. Lo and behold, I see Kimberlyz World in the comments on Aboriginal, was it? No, not Aboriginal, Autochthonous One YouTube page. And I see you constantly beating them up, challenging them from afar in their chats and things of that nature. What inspired you to take on that fight and challenge them in a sense? Was this something that you knew for a long time, or is this studying recently that brought this out of you? Because you don't play that when it comes to trying to be something else other than African.
That what has me as adamant as I am, I do that simply because, number one, these monkeys, I'm just going to call them, they're fucking American. See, I'm getting pissed off. I'm getting mad. Cut it, Kimberly. Control yourself. That old army girl coming off. Get her. Okay. No, those Negro, these monkeys, man, I just call them American monkeys. They're trying to destroy, okay, our ancestors. They're trying to rewrite history. They're trying to take everything that our ancestors have been through, all of the suffering, the dehumanization, the hanging, the lynching. They was eating them alive, chopping them up, burning them, doing all kinds of stuff. And our ancestors, they persevered through all of that. They made it through all of that because I'm here because of that. They caught hell and I'm here. These Negroes, these niggas that hate themselves, they're trying to replace our ancestors, but at the same time, they want to claim the accomplishments of the ancestors. They want our elders, they want their accolades, they want their accomplishments, they want their inventions. They want to just come over and just redo everything and slide themselves into what our ancestors caught hell building up and died for. And they want to relabel it after some doggone Native American Indians. They have their own culture and their own doggone history. We have ours. And they're not going to sit up in here and rob me and my ancestors of what they went through just because they hate themselves. They hate themselves, fine. You be the best self-hater you can be. But you're not going to do it at the expense of my ancestors. They caught too much hell. That's why I go at them the way I do. Because this is dangerous. And they're teaching their children how to do this crap. You have these niggas, these monkeys, and they're teaching their children, you ain't from Africa, you ain't black, you are an Aboriginal, you were Native American, you Choctaw, you all this crap, and nothing to back it up. So now you're gonna have, y'all think we in trouble now? Y'all think the black experience, you think we in trouble now? Wait until these self-hating little niggas hit the streets. It's gonna be a whole new ball game, baby. It's gonna be a whole new ball game. These niggas, these monkeys have got to be stopped. They gotta be, you gotta get these monkeys and run them back up into the trees where they came from. They fell off the tree, they can go back up in the tree. I can't stand them. I hate them. I hate every single last one of these monkeys. They're American monkeys, and I hate them. I hate looking at them. I can't stand to hear them talk, but you have to, because they're all over the place. They're like cockroaches, and they're spreading this poison. And it needs to be, they are a cancer to the African American community, and they need to be cut out. Don't play with them. Don't placate them. Don't let them on your platforms taking over. They hijack y'all's platforms. I sit and I've been watching them for 2 years, and they get on your platform, Pan-African, pro-black, black nationalists. They deliberately get on the platforms and they hijack the platform. And you guys, because they're black and they're your brother and your sister, you placate them because of the skin color. Let me tell you something about that right down now. These monkeys have made up their minds. They don't want the word Africa anywhere on YouTube, and they don't want it on Facebook. They want to wipe the word Africa off the internet. I heard one say it. He flat out said it. We don't want Africa nowhere near us on this internet. Then I heard one of them, this is what they're doing. One nigga, he actually said, y'all Pan-Africanists, y'all so proud of being African. You got pride in being African. He said, I'm going to take that from you. When I heard that monkey say that, that was it. That's when I knew these monkeys have got to go. I'm doing everything I can right now to stop from going to my coven and dealing with these monkeys at my altar. I'm here on this channel tonight because I want to make an appeal to all of the Pan-Africanists, all the channels that support being black. There are ways to get these monkeys off the internet, because if they don't get off the internet this way, I'm gonna get with my coven and we're gonna hit that altar. And we're gonna do it that way. And that ain't gonna be nothing nice. I got a track record, doggone it. I got a lot of stuff I left behind in the state of Texas, and they can't do nothing. I'm stop right there. So that's why I went at him like that, because they're deliberately, they don't believe in documented history. They don't believe in science. They don't believe in technology. They don't believe in genetics. And the only genealogy these monkeys believe in is my grandmama said. Okay, my grandmama told me that her people, they were slaves on a plantation in Virginia on my father's side. I have her picture. I got a video. I got all this stuff on my channel. And she's my father's great grandmother. My daddy was in his 80s when he died 2 years ago. We're talking about his grandfather's mother. They're still in Virginia to this day. I have her picture. That woman went through hell. She caught hell as a slave in Virginia. And she raised up sons that had sons that grew up to own businesses. My father's grandfather was one of the first black cops in Philadelphia. And his mother was an ex-slave. Get the out of here. And they're going to come behind me and destroy all of that? I don't think so. They got to go. That's why I'm doing this.
All right. So
now I'm getting worked up.
It's okay. It's okay. So I'm gonna mute y'all just a second. So that was a talk to this one. However you say it, it's pronounced differently than how he says it. You've shown up in other chats and you wanted to battle them, but it seems like you get muted. Do you think that the censorship is derived from, as you probably would call it, the self-hating Negro in them?
It's coming from they hate themselves, they hate their mammies, and they hate their pappies. Okay, it's just that simple. They cannot stand themselves. They don't like reality. They can't deal with reality. Okay, they don't want, they're so desperate to be these Indians. They're obsessed with it. It's to the point where it's not even real anymore. These people are not even, you can't even, can I just tell you what happened between me and Phoenix Moon? Can I do that? I would love to do that. It's going to take a minute.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is what kicked it off. About 2 years ago, I really wasn't aware of this abo crap because I was busy dealing with these old self-hating niggers, these Hebrews, dealing with them, calling people Hamites and embracing white people from Mexico and white people from the Native American white folks. But when it comes to black people, you a nigger and you a Hamite and you going to hell. I was dealing with that. But through the Hebrew stuff, because of that 12 tribes chart, that's how I came across the abos. I didn't know nothing about that 2 years ago until I accidentally came across the abo crap through the Hebrew Israelites. That's when I came across Dane Calloway and Phoenix Moon. Phoenix Moon channel, I said, let me see what's going on here. What are these Negroes? Because we know we mixed with Indian, but something was different about this. So I started watching her videos and it came to me. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This female is actually saying she descends from Native American Indians and Scottish European royalty with absolutely no African ancestry, none whatsoever. And she's sitting up looking like Japhet Koto's daughter. Go out of here with that. So I'm sitting here watching her videos and I'm seeing, okay, these people are trying to, this is when I began to realize they're trying to erase the true history of the Atlantic slave trade. They're trying to get rid of that and they're replacing it with white people. And well, you know the spiel of what they're doing. That's when it hit me. So what I started doing with her, like what you saw, what I did on a talk show, this one, I started doing her channel like that. I was letting her have it. And we was battling, going back and forth, because she's got a big mouth. That monkey has a big mouth. She talks a lot. You know, she's a cockeyed American monkey. Yeah. So I was reeling her in because I knew what I wanted to do to her. As soon as I had her where I wanted her, I said something that just turned. She got so triggered. She challenged me to a debate. Now she's got a big. I don't have a big channel. I'm small, fine, cool, and dandy. Boom, that's me. I'm exclusive, not inclusive. She challenged me to a debate, and she did it because she knows her channel is big, and she's gonna have all these old monkeys supporting her in this debate that she created. So next thing I know, I get on my phone. I get off work. I get on my phone and I'm checking my notices. She done went and threw up a placard, a notice, and it said Phoenix Moon versus Kimberlyz World, African versus American Indian, and all this crap. I set the challenge. I said, okay. I hit her up. I said, okay, we're going to do this. You want genealogy? I'm working on my tree right now. We're going to do genealogy. And she said, yeah, you got to go back all the way, and because they think they're the chief bottle washers when it comes to genealogy. She thought she had me.
I wanna interject right there at that point. Are you aware that she never did her genealogy? Okay, go ahead. No, my bad.
But she's a liar. She acts like she has. I saw a thing. I saw her. She was doing a debate with Jabari, and she threw up some old crap from Ancestry.com. It was a silhouette cartoon crap with her talking about these are my European royalty and no African. Anyway, yeah, I know that's all fake. She ain't done nothing. So I hit her back, and because I'm thinking, I know this chick thinks I don't have any genealogy. So I'm going to go ahead and hit her up and let her know we're going to do this. I said, I accept your challenge. She wasn't expecting that. I said, but let me throw something in with that. I'm accepting your challenge. Yes, we're going to do genealogy. I said, but guess what? We're going to do genetics and genealogy. I said, when you put this placard up, you made a notice, and you said, I'm going to be debating you. You're going to be debating me. And we're going to be doing genealogy, African versus, and who can prove what. I said, we're going to bring genealogy and genetics. I said, both of us, I said, you're claiming to be Native American Indian and European with no African. back it up with genealogy and genetics. I'm going to sit here and prove to you that I have African ancestry and I got Native American ancestry. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you right now, I've got Papago Pima, the Tohono O'odham nation of Papago Pima Indians in Arizona. I've got them in my blood. I've got the reports. I got it. I said, so this is what we're going to do. Both of us, we're going to bring our genetics and our genealogy to the doggone table. When you want, you pick the debate, you pick the date, you pick the platform. We're going to do this. I accept. That dog, that monkey ran. I ain't heard from her since. She will not engage with me. She won't lock horns with me. I saw her battle Rob Bourne. She battled Rob Bourne. She battled Jabari Osazi twice. So when I hit her up with that proposition, you know, nigga, you're going to bring genealogy and genetics. I accept your challenge. That monkey took off. That monkey hit the bricks. Ain't seen that monkey since. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because of that incident with her. So I don't know what she's doing now, but she been kind of quiet lately. If y'all notice, she ain't been blowing up lately. So that's what got me started in this. And Dane Calloway, I messed his butt up too one day. He was doing a live, right? And you know how he has the music playing in the background and it's all suspicious and he's talking all this. There's a sidewalk right there. What's that sidewalk? I mean, it's a sidewalk. Why are you doing this? So I jumped on his chat, and them old monkeys that follow them American monkeys, they all chatting and saying all this old bullcorn. We this, we that, and no one ever wants to tell us our real identity. The truth is coming out. I said, okay, so I jumped on that chat and I started talking about my DNA. I started talking about my genetics and my genealogy. And I told them about the tribes that my father's grandfather's mother. My father's grandfather's name was Elijah Bell. His mother's name was Mary Margaret. She was a Papago Pima Indian woman right out of Arizona. And I've got that blood in my system. I got the reports to prove it. So if I tell you my father's maternal grandmother told him your paternal great-grandmother, Papago Pima Indian, guess what? That grandmama said that, and it's true. That grandmama was telling the truth. So I started putting that stuff in his chat. He blocked me, and I challenged him. I said, yo, Dane, I got a small channel. I ain't nothing. But I tell you what, I will challenge you I will shut you down any day. You bring your genetics and you bring your genealogy, because I don't know what Indian does he claim. I don't know what he claims. Is it Choctaw? Whatever he's claiming. I said, you need to bring your genealogy and your genetics and show me where your family say, your grandmother said you come Choctaw or whatever. Okay, fine. That's your genealogy. Now get your genetics. And I want to see that report that says certain percent, whatever the Indian is. He blocked me. Aboriginal Power blocked me on several occasions. He got me up off his chat real quick. And, you know, I'm nobody. Why are y'all blocking me? I ain't got nothing on these channels. I'm nobody. Nobody watching my videos. My channel ain't blowing up. But when I show up on your set talking my stuff, oh, now you got to block a nigga. That's because they know darn good and well they can't fight against genetics and genealogy together. They can't do it. And they're constantly saying genetics ain't real. It's fake. It's false. But if they would just go to my channel and look at my videos, it'll shut them down. It'll shut them down.
Okay, so moving on from them. So you're fighting with the Hebrews, you're fighting with the Abos, you working your witchcraft, you're sticking to your spirituality. You got a multitude of things going on. But why are you doing this? And who are you doing this for?
I'm doing this. I'm doing it simply because it's the right thing to do. You know, to sit back and see wrong and don't do right. You don't do that. What they say is it's never wrong to do right. And we as African Americans, we have enough hell on our asses as it is now. The last thing we need is a bunch of self-hating monkeys running around on social media trying to put us into another bag of tricks. Because we're looking like fools right now. The whole world is sitting up looking at these blackies talk this mess. And when you try to correct them, they double down. They double down. Now they're at a level to where they don't even want to see any kind of sources. They just flat out say, I'm like Dan Calloway, I'm the source. Okay, now it's getting ridiculous. Okay, I'm the source on that. And you know, being a witch, you exist between the worlds. You exist on both planes. Right now, the ancestors are not happy. Okay, Dr. Khalil Muhammad right now, he's really pissed off. He came to me in a vision. Yes, this man is he's really upset. A lot of people don't like, you know, spirituality and witchcraft and all that spirit talk, but it's real. So, but the thing that really gets me is I know our history. I know what our ancestors went through. I know what they endured. Those people, they caused hell, man. Come on. They suffered. Being packed in that ship like silverware. And then you're going to have these monkeys come along and say it never happened. It's white people that went through that. Then you got this old monkey named Sister Bethy. That chick looked like something off goddamn Honeycomb Hideout. And she done went and made a fake. How are you a chief? You're not a chief of nothing. You're just a self-hating. She's a freaking monkey. She's actually got a lawsuit going to stop Black people from getting. She's trying to uphold the reparations process. I mean, you hate yourself. Hate yourself. Don't drag me and my ancestors into your delusions. We ain't got nothing to do with this mess. So she's running around getting lawsuits to try to stop reparations because they've got to get rid of the African. Okay, in order for them to be Aboriginals and in order for them to be Native American Indians and to be here, point blank, they was always here. No one brought them here. They was always here. In order to justify and bring that into reality, you got to get rid of the Atlantic slave trade because the Atlantic slave trade explains how we got here, period. They got to get rid of that. So that's what they're doing. And it's just too much history, too much suffering and dehumanization. And our ancestors, that's what gets me. They persevered through every trick that this goat-haired cracker, everything he did, our ancestors, they survived that, and then those that died horrible deaths. And then these monkeys are going to just show up and start doing all of this insidious bullcorn because they don't, why don't they just be fake Indians and leave us out of it? Let me have my ancestors. Let me enjoy being a sub-Saharan African. Let me enjoy my African ancestry, my roots, my culture. Let me enjoy it in peace. Why I gotta be getting on the internet all the time and seeing some old nigga that went and posted some old notice talking about Mary Walker was a Native American Indian. You got that cracker over there, Kuramiao Ahau. That cracker is over there trying to turn Nat Turner into a Native American Indian. Nat Turner belongs to us. Nat Turner gave his life to try to free us from the bonds of slavery. They cut his head off. This man caught hell behind that. And you got this cracker sitting up over here talking about Nat Turner was a doggone Native American Indian. And you got a bunch of monkeys in his chat room cheering him on. I had to jump in there and start up. It's ridiculous. They're not giving away what belongs to me. And I don't even descend from the African continent, and I'm fighting like this. Pisses me off. So it's to the point now where I just might just go ahead and hook up that. That's okay. I'm gonna be quiet on that. I'll be quiet on that. But they really need to back off. They need to back off. They need to go ahead and run your channels, be the fake Indian, be the monkey, be the American monkey, be the gorilla. I'm not going to say gorilla because gorillas are awesome, strong animals of nature. They just a bunch of old monkey niggas running around on YouTube screaming and hollering, shaking their head like monkeys. They need to run back up in that tree. So that's what did it. That's what's got me so fired up. That's it. If that makes sense.
Okay, I'm gonna meet you out. All right, so I was gonna play a video, but you already fired up. I don't want you no more fired up than you already are. I was frozen for a little bit, but I'm here. So ultimately, what is the end game for Kimberlyz World? I know what you're in it for. It's about the people. It's about fighting back. It's about restoring our history, our legacy, and our ancestors' struggle all the way up until the point to where we are now. But what's the end game look like? Is there something that you're going to leave behind for your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and their children's children, so that they will not be led astray in this information age?
I mean, that's it right there, because I have grandchildren. And the thing about it is, my grandchildren are mixed race. My two sons are mixed race. I ain't hiding nothing. My two sons are mixed race. My oldest son, he has children. They're mixed race. I'm already mixed up with the Mexicans anyway. I got Mexicans in my family on my father's and my mother's father's side anyway. So we all mixed up. So yes, as far as the children coming up, my grandchildren and my son, and he's mixed race, and he talks about Africa to his children, and he's mixed race. These monkeys can't do that. So that's why I'm doing all this extensive DNA on me, because one day when my grandkids are really grown, they're in school right now. When they're grown, they're going to know who they are and where they came from. They're not going to be stuck listening to no old archives of a bunch of Sister Bethy's and all these old monkeys talking all this crap. They're going to know who they are. No questions about it. And when you know who you are, you can function. You are a positive part of the community. You're not running around causing trouble. Okay. It's negative what they're doing. It produces nothing what they're doing. I'm gonna tell you something. You have little black girls, I'm gonna say dark skin, okay? Because I'm a dark skinned African American woman, and I love it to death. You couldn't pay me to be yellow. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Period. Yellow people, they're yellow, that's fine, no problem with that. They are who they are, and they don't hate themselves. They ain't running around trying to change history, So me being as dark as I am, I was raised with a mother. My mother told us, her daughters, you walk with your head held high because you are a black African queen. You come from a black nation. You come from Africa. There was queens in Africa. You know your history, but don't you forget, you are a black queen. And when you walk, you hold your head. I was raised that way. So I love the skin I'm in. You can't tell me nothing. But there are little black girls right now growing up. They're as young as 4 years old. And they're hating themselves. They're looking at themselves in the mirror and calling themselves ugly. And then you got these women like Sister Bethy, Sister Soul, and that other one that has the radio podcast, and what's her name? Phoenix Moon. They hate the way they look. They hate their nappy hair. They hate their lips. They hate everything about themselves. They want to look like Sofia Vergara. They want to look like these spics running around. That's what they want, but they don't, and they can't look that way. So they're pushing this narrative of being Native American, and you got these little black girls and boys growing up seeing this. They already have a low self-esteem because the real world, we know what they really look like. We know the real Native American Indians. They don't look like us. And even the ones that are dark, the original dark ones, their genetics are not the same. So this is going towards young, dark-skinned black children that already hate themselves. It's another way to fight for their lives so they don't grow up. Dark-skinned black women now are in severe depression and suicide just because they're running around mad because they don't look like these spics running around and all this stuff like that. And this ABO movement is not helping anything. It's not helping it at all. Okay, so it's about like you said, future generations, educating them, love yourself. Because if you hate yourself, you'll never make it. You won't.
Okay. I'm gonna meet you out again. All right, so now that we grown to know Kimberly as a whole, the mother, the grandmother, the ancestry, the genealogy, the haplogroups, the emphasis of marrying science and history together to tell your story, your purpose, living in your purpose. You made several emphasis to one more thing, and I think this is a question that some people wanted to know because you brought it up multiple times. How in the hell did you get into belly dancing?
I have always liked Middle Eastern music. I have Middle Eastern ancestry. I have Arab ancestry. Okay, I have Nabatean ancestry. I have Semitic ancestry. I have Levantine ancestry. I've got ancestry with the Sephardic Jews, the Mizrahi Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews. Okay, I have ancestry with the Samaritans, with the Israelites, the real, not convert Jews, but actual. I can track myself back to Israel. I have Israeli. I've got that Arab. I've got it going, both of them. Okay. And we got those Arabic markers and those Jewish markers. They're all in my family. That's where the genealogy is coming from. So belly dancing, that came natural to me because I like the music anyway.
Okay. So that was natural. All right. Hold on one second. You try it again. Okay, so now we know the influence behind the belly dancing. What would you go back and tell your 20-year-old self now if you had that conversation? What would you tell your 20-year-old self, not your 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15, 20-year-old self?
Take your black butt to college. Take your black butt to college. Don't go into the nursing home. Don't do the medical assisting. That was cool. But yeah, I would pretty much tell them, I think I would like have gone back and just said, look, go to college. I would love to be a geneticist, man. Love to be a geneticist or a linguist. That's what I would have told myself. Go to college.
Okay, so you just said two things real quick. You said geneticist and linguist. Tell me your love for both of those subject matters. Expound on that for us, because you've mentioned linguist earlier and getting into languages. But go ahead and tell people why you're so high strong on genetics and linguistics.
Genetics is interesting because I've always liked people groups, places, who's mixed with this. Where did you come from? And why do you look the way you look? And I can look at people and pick certain things and say, I'm looking at your eyes. You got this. Well, the genetics proves that. The genetics will come back and say, okay, yeah, you was right. So people and people groups, that's very interesting. It always has been. As far as languages is concerned, they go together. Languages, I like different languages. Right now, I'm studying Arabic, I'm studying Hebrew, and I'm studying Swahili. And it just so happened the languages that I'm studying just happen to be languages where I have DNA. But we didn't know that back then. I've been studying languages for quite some time. Now that we have DNA, I'm like, man, I'm noticing something here. All these languages I'm studying, that's where I have DNA. So, and you can, I like different cultures. I'm not a people person, but I like studying people. I like being left alone. I'm a very private person. So that's the reason why I chose genetics, because people, migration, very interesting, and phenotypes and stuff is interesting, and speaking different languages because it leads to people. It's very interesting. That's what I like.
All right, so I muted you real quick. So let's talk about West Africa. And you know, you had mentioned some of the different mixtures in your ancestry, but I want you to go there. What is it that makes you so fond of West Africa? What have you been studying or reading, and what intrigues you about West Africa the most?
The Bantu speakers. Okay. Long time ago, in late 80s, I was in the library reading a book about Africa. And for the first time, I came across a word and it said Bantu people, Bantu speakers. And that did it. The Bantu people and Bantu speakers, I'm very, very interested in them. And you can't get into the Bantu speakers without touching on West Africa. Even though they're mostly in Southeast Africa, there are Bantu speakers that appear in West Africa. Believe it or not, it exists. West Africa is intriguing to me because I've always known that the oppressor, these crackers, have always separated North Africa from Sub-Saharan Africa, and they did it for a reason. Okay, and whenever you try to take something and turn it into something negative to keep me from having it, you're working against yourself. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the good in what you're using to work against me, because they'll tell you you're Sub-Saharan African. Y'all didn't create nothing. Y'all didn't do anything. You didn't create. You didn't contribute nothing. You didn't have any written languages, and y'all was in the trees. And you got some Black people that think like that. And for me, studying and learning more about West Africa and the Bantu speakers, I'm learning, well, for one thing, you're backwards, because West Africa, there were empires in West Africa. There were people that were functioning, and like the Great Wall of Zimbabwe. Okay, that's what? Where do you think that is? But they want to tell you that white people did that. No, they didn't. They did not do that. So that's why I'm into West Africa, because it is it's the underdog. Okay, and I'm attracted to stuff like that. And so I'm reading a book right now. As a matter of fact, this book right here, I'm reading this book right here about it's Bantu Africa. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I went to the library looking for a good book, a real book on the Bantu speakers, not a book from the Hebrew Israelites, because all they're going to do is say the Bantus are from Palestine and they're Jews. I wanted a book that was from real scholars. And this book is from real scholars. 3 ladies wrote this book. And it's called Bantu Africa, 3500 BC to the present. Okay. And this book walks you through the Bantu experience. And it takes you through the different stages and the different eras of the Bantu migration. So I'm reading this book right now to help me to get a good understanding of the Bantu, because they're very confusing to me. Very confusing. It's like the more I learn about the Bantus, the more confused I get, because it's very, very extensive, these Bantu speakers. This is a lot of them, and they have a lot of different dialects. So that's what I'm doing right now, and that's why I'm into West Africa.
All right, so we have a question on the screen and from the chat. Barry says, what African ethnicity do you identify with the most?
I call myself a Bantu girl, okay? Because I'm greedy. I'm not gonna just take Bantu Southeast, Bantu's Nilotic. So I just tell people I identify as a Sub-Saharan African Bantu girl. But if you really want me to lock it down and answer, I really like Kenya. Okay, I like Kenya, and they have the Lahuya. But see, that's a good question, because I do. Okay, I'm glad you say identify, because I will never tell anyone that I descend from the Lahuya. I descend from the Bantu, because I don't. I have their admixture, and I don't want to take on their line of descent, and I didn't go, and I don't. So I identify, like you say, I identify with the Bantu speakers, but I like the Lahuya of Kenya. So I will say I will identify with the Lahuya if you want to lock it down like that.
All right. So you identify with the Bantu. I'm looking for more questions. So bear with me just a second. Nah, looks like everybody else is there. So, which West African kingdom has drawn your interest when studying about West Africa, if there is one?
It's the Nok culture, because I found out that I actually have DNA. See, my father's mother, she's L3. She's so far, she's the only African line that I found. Her maternal line is L3. So I found an African line in my family. And so the Nuk culture, when I found out through a chromosome analysis that I definitely have DNA with the Nuk culture, I started reading up on them. So right now, as far as a culture and empire, it's the Nuk civilization is what I'm reading about right now. I just got going on that.
Okay, so you're just now learning about the Nok. Do you have any inspirations or aspirations of learning more? Because earlier when you broke down your admixture, I don't know how much of your admixture is Nigerian. I don't know if it's 30% or 25 to 30%, whatever the case may be. But do you have an interest in taking up and studying all of Nigeria or certain facets? Because you also mentioned ancestry that links you to the Fulani. And so is that an interest that you're willing to take in the near future?
The Fula, you know, everybody's rocking with the Fula. I like to mess around with stuff that everybody's not too much, you know, running to. The Fulani, they're interesting. My Nigerian is 26.8%. Okay, that's my Nigerian. The Fula and okay, Wolof. I got Fula and Wolof. Now, I am willing to dig into the Wolof because that's Senegal, and I've always been crazy about Senegal for some reason. So yeah, the Wolof and the Wolof people. Now, as far as Nigeria is concerned, that Nigeria is confusing to me. I don't fully understand what's going on with Nigeria because I've got mixed emotions about Nigeria. It's interesting and all of that, but it seems like, I don't know, I can't touch on that too much. It seems like there's some kind of like within the Nigerians, some of them themselves, they want to kind of more like associate with Arabs it seemed like those that are Muslims, the Nigerian Muslims, the Arabs, okay, and that's kind of funny to me. But yeah, I like the Wolof.
All right, so let me mute you out again. Now, you mentioned the Wolof. We have a member of the Masi that is definitely Wolof, and we have another member that's Siri, and that's right there in the Gambia region, Senegambia to be exact. So there's information probably on this channel that could actually help you in gaining a little bit more information from on that, and can help you with your research in those areas. So I would say check it out. But someone came in late and they had a question, so I wanted to bring it back to that before asking the other question. So again, I want you to remind the listening audience of your admixtures, and that's dealing with your 81% African ancestry. And if you want to speak to your 19% other side, then you can. And then we'll get to the question on our screen.
Okay. So after you get finished with the African, it says broadly West African, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and then there's a tab on here that says new. And what they're doing is they're taking you into more possible matches. Okay, they're 23andMe is they're fine tuning a lot of their stuff. Okay, so as far as the other ones, when it comes to the European, I'm looking at like 16% European, and that's going to be, of course, the Scotland, Ireland, Britain, Eastern Europe, Russia, and a little bit of Italy. I'm all over the place. Ashkenazi Jewish, and then broadly European. Then you got, of course, the Filipino Austronesian. You got broadly East Asian. And then you got your trace ancestry, which is the one that's coming into Iran, Iraq, the West Asia, with the Israelis and them Arabs and all that, and the North Africans and the Moroccans and all that stuff. And within that, you can pull more out of that if you take a chromosome analysis, and I will get into that later. But yeah.
All right. So the next question is, let me check. What does it take to become a witch, and how long? And then there's a follow-up to that. So we'll deal with that. And the follow-up is, someone asked if you practice Wicca.
Okay. Number one, how long does it? There's two ways of becoming a witch. You can be a natural. There are natural born witches. Okay. Then you have a witch that'll take a class, or someone who will go through Wicca. Not all Wiccans are witches. You can find a Wiccan group that is a teaching group that will teach you the basics and what you need to go through to be a witch as far as the Wiccan tradition is concerned. Or they've got the Wiccan tradition, you got the Green Witch, whatever tradition you want, find it, get a teacher, and they'll teach you. If you're a natural witch, you'll know that, and you'll go and you will develop your own path. Okay. So as far as how long it takes, if you're going under instruction, that depends on the people that you're learning with. It depends on the high priest and the high priestess and the coven that you're learning with, or if you're learning with a solitaire. Okay, if you're learning with a solitaire, it's gonna depend on that solitaire and what path they're using, what path they practice. If you're going with a group and a coven, then you're going to be working with that coven, and you're going to be under their jurisdiction, doing it their way. Every coven, every witch, it's different. It's the same, but they have their own little special little nuances. And if you're a natural witch like me, you just know it. Okay. And I'll tell you how you know it. When you can pick up on things, when you can walk, you just know things. You can think something and something will happen, or you can get a thought and it'll come to fruition, or you can walk past a plant. Plants have spirits. If you can communicate with plants, that is a gift of a natural witch. Okay, that is a gift of being a natural witch. So I hope that answered his question as far as how long it takes. Depends on who you learn with, and is it a solitaire or if you're with a coven. You're under their jurisdiction. You're going by their curriculum. If you're a natural witch, it's going to be ongoing. You're going to completely be developing yourself. You're going to learn new things. It happens in cycles. With me, it's like every 3 years, I hit another level. Okay, so it's ongoing. It's like being in a religion, a spiritual path. It's ongoing. You're going to always be learning.
All right, so you answered one of the follow-up questions, so I'm gonna skip over to the other one because someone was about to ask you. They want two-part question. How do people respond to you announcing you're a witch, and do you have other Black women to practice with? And then there's another one. Which branch of Wicca are you subscribed to?
And how do people respond to her announcing that she's witch? Well, for one thing, the only reason why I announced or mentioned that I was a witch in this setting is because I'm here talking about who I am and what I do. I'm here for a purpose, okay? And I have a responsibility to be honest about who I am and what I do, okay? Sean has asked me, given me the opportunity to come up here. So I'm going to be honest and let you know this is who I am. These are my channels and this is what I do. So other than that, a witch is never to walk around talking about I'm a witch. You don't do it at work. You don't do it. You just don't do it. The only time you ever admit to being a witch is if someone asks you a question, or if someone says, do you know something about this? I've had people just come up to me and ask me stuff. Now, maybe I just must look that way. I don't know. But if they ask me and say certain things as a witch, I have got to tell the truth and say, yes, I do practice witchcraft and this, that, and the other. If they want to expound on it, they will. If they won't, I don't push it. We do not proselytize. Witches do not ever proselytize. We are not like the Christians and the Jews and the Islamics. You do not proselytize. Only when they ask, you have an obligation to be honest and tell these people, yes, this is what I do. And that's it. And what was the other question?
You answered it.
Okay.
All right, so I'm about to expound on, well,
what branch of Wicca?
Yeah, there you go. And then
let me talk to you about Wicca. I learned a lot about the machinations of being a witch by reading books on Wicca. Not so much paganism. Not paganism, but Wicca. So you have different branches of Wicca. You got Gardnerian Wicca, you've got Wicca, you've got the ones that do it in Scotland, you've got Afro Wicca. So what I've done is I went to the books of Wicca and I learned how to properly do rituals, how to set up an altar. I learned the mechanics of it. The natural, spiritual part of it, I already understood all of that. But when it came to working the wheel of the year, doing rituals, why am I doing this ritual? This, the meat of it, the technical part of it, that I got from Wicca, because Wicca made sense to me, even though it's European, it's white people practice Wicca, okay? And I also did a little bit of Christian witchcraft. That's mixed in. And when you say Christian witchcraft, it's not the Christianity you think. So we ain't thinking about the kind of Christianity with Pastor Pork Chop and all that. That ain't it. So I pulled from Wicca, but I'm not a Wiccan, okay? You cannot call me a Wiccan because I never went to a Wiccan former school and I never studied under a Wiccan priest and high priestess. But I pulled from their books and learned how to do rituals, learned about the wheel of the year, learning about incense and what incense to burn for what purpose. That's what's going on with that. So I'm not a Wiccan, but I pulled a lot from Wicca and learned a lot about the machinations of being a witch by Wicca, because not all Wiccans are witches. And Black women, there are Black women that practice, but I'm a solitaire, okay? And I have a private coven, a very private coven. And it's not like I meet with other Black women, because I don't, because other Black women are into things that I'm not into. And I don't want my magic to be tainted by, you meet with a coven and you do your spells and everything, and everyone goes home. Okay, you don't know what those people are doing. Once they leave home and they're not in the coven and the spell's been done and they go home, you don't know what them people are doing. They could be at home working something to go against what y'all just did as a group. And now your spells ain't coming through, the stuff's not working, and you don't know what's going on. So I learned the hard way. You have a private coven and you keep that private and you work as a solitaire. Okay, so as far as me having, now there are Black witches on YouTube. Okay, you've got Black witches that are practicing on YouTube, and you've got voodoo priestesses on YouTube, and they're very knowledgeable. But I don't run with them. I don't run with anybody, really. I really don't, because I want my magic to stay clean. Hope I answered that.
All right, so now to my question. I'm gonna make it a little messy, a little spicy. So, all right, so what if you come into some knowledge one day that challenges where you are right now in your practices? Do you up and leave that as you did with the church?
No. With the church, I had questions. When I was a Christian, I was never settled in it. But I did it because you growing up in mom and dad's house, you growing up with mom and pops, you're going to do what they say in that house. That's it. You're going to get dealt with. And Betty Ruth and DJ, they wasn't nothing to play with. So as long as I was at home, I was a Christian. When I left home, I stayed a Christian because it takes a while to get all of that. But I still had questions. I was not satisfied with it. That's why it was easy for me to finally pull up out of there. But I've always been a witch at heart. I've always been this. And I've hid it and stuffed it because I was practicing doing this Christianity stuff. And then I became a Catholic. It all had to go. Now that I am a witch, I'm doing what comes natural. You don't leave what comes natural. You don't do that. So, no.
All right. So, hold on. How versed are you in scientific information as regards to methodology, literacy, and practice?
I am learning that by watching you guys. Okay, I'm learning that because I believe in science. I do believe in science. Okay, science answers questions. Science is logic. Okay, there's no feelings, no emotions. No, my grandmama said, or no, I feel like this. Science is science. You go out, you figure out something, you want to get something done, or you think something. Once you get that thought, you got to get out there and start gathering your shit together, gathering your stuff together. You got to do research. You gotta log. You gotta do what they call controlled research in a controlled lab or whatever. And it's to me, it's logic. It's getting out there, gathering information, cataloging stuff, research, and coming up with, and then you got to test whatever it is you've been dabbling with. Now you got to test it to see if it's really what you think it is. And depending on your test, lets you know whether yay or nay. You're trying to disprove or prove what it is you're coming up with. In other words, I'm not going to sit up in here and argue with somebody when they tell me that people evolve. People have been evolving. I'm not going to sit up in here and argue about that because the research is done, the paperwork is done, it's documented. You know, it's not like somebody's just talking off their feelings. Evolution is, whether you like it or not, it's real. I'm not going to argue about that. So I'm watching you guys and I'm listening to you guys talk about, I'm sticky on the methodology stuff. It's, I'm not too sure about putting it all together, okay? Because I listen to Ankh and them too, and they're always talking about that methodology. They're always talking about that. And that's where I'm getting, I just keep watching and hoping I can, you know, understand really what's going on here with this science and listen to Cedric. And I know y'all do that stuff. And I know Chris Harris gets into that. He does a lot of that science stuff. And y'all do that stuff. Y'all have to, because when you're battling people like Dulcinea, you're battling people like the Hebrews, you can't do that on feelings and emotions. You got to have that information, and pulling that information out, that process, that's what I do not know how to do, but I do accept science as it's a reality and you have to have it. It's just, you can't get around it.
All right, so I want to play a video real quick, just a clip, a portion of a video. Then I want your response. I want to see, according to your studies and what you had going on, your answer or your response to this, what's being said here. I know what's being said, but a lot of people probably haven't heard this. And I want to let the thought get out first, and then I'm gonna stop it. So really, I'm gonna play about a few minutes of it. Hopefully we can tolerate it, and then we'll proceed forward, okay? Now, on the panel is A1, is Bethy, Hawk School, and whoever the other fool is, but Lucky is on the panel. So I'm gonna play it, hear it out, and then we're gonna get into it.
To be like on some joke shit, but I'm just saying, people of prestige is people who doing some type of commerce, people who own land. My grandfather owned over 1,000 acres, nigga, over 1,000 acres. Now I'm still trying to put together the entire story, but 1,000 acres from fucking what we know as Cuspic, Macon, or Cuspin and Macon, Georgia, all the way down to I think like a little bit below Fort Lauderdale. They own
When did he
land
sell
all
it? When did he sold his land?
Huh?
When he sold his land?
He didn't sell his land. Hit on my father family, like that was connected because my father inherited some parts of that. They kind of like split it up among other siblings, like, you know what I'm saying. But my father had 300 acres.
Hey, listen to me. I don't believe a word that he's saying. But anyway, let him continue.
That great migration shit fucked niggas up, and niggas don't even understand that niggas was running from the South because how the Jim Crow shit was. Niggas didn't give a fuck about that land, bro.
Yep. And you being terrorized. That's what I'm trying to tell you. As you see, they taking land from direct Indians, nigga. They knew these people are no Africans or black or nothing. They taking land from direct, not even taking land, but they using all these manipulated tactics. See, it wasn't just they was running, nigga. We was beating niggas up. We was shooting motherfuckers. We was doing
well, look
all
at
that
Tulsa.
shit.
In Tulsa, after they burnt that motherfucker down, they changed the law and made it to where you could only build a 2-story property on the land. Now, you just burnt down the banks with all our money in it. So we can't even build no 2-story. We got to get a little 1-story and level up. But they changed the laws to where it had to be at least a 2-story to develop the property. So this just made it to where niggas lost their shit, bro. Because these people got in office, changed these laws. They overthrew
composition that picked to what your so-called what you're about to present. So I would like to know firsthand, what are you about to present?
So, like you had said earlier, I wanted to get into it. We kind of went off on a tangent, but you was talking about how the DNA was talking about basically showing like different traits, like human traits and shit, right? That's what it was. That was supposed to be created for. So,
but think of it like this too. I'm gonna say this before you show this because I already know where you're about to go, right? If all human beings on the planet is 99.9% similar, right? The different in the similarities would be like black people got dark, we got darker skin. So that would be something that would be lined up with all people who look like us, brother. The same thing with Asian people, the same thing with Indian people, the same thing with Europeans. They have a certain chemical in their physical composition that picks up on that 0.0%. Now they're using these so-called chemicals, or chemical that's in the DNA, right? They saying that these are migrations, which they're lying. These are not, people are not walking 1,000 fucking miles. The people from Mexico ain't walking 1,000 fucking miles. So you think people walking 1,000 miles to that uncertain future? It may not be no food there. It may not be no water supply there. How the fuck is people walking and making these migrations like this?
All right, so I'm gonna stop it right there because he asked us how. He said a lot in that clip, but more importantly, the way that he ended. So we can walk backwards, or we could start from the beginning. I want your thoughts on what you just heard, and I'm gonna mute out.
He has no idea. Well, right now he's surely, in the beginning, he's shilly-shallying, okay? Because they have no real information on anything. So him rambling about his father and having the property and then bringing in his father's brothers and sisters and everybody's getting a parcel of land here and a parcel of land there. I don't even know why he's doing all of that, because all of that shilly-shallying and talking about all this land, I guess by him saying land, that makes him a Native American Indian. I guess because he's talking about his father inheriting something, that makes him a Native American Indian. None of what he said has anything to do with proving that you are a Native American Indian. None of that. So I don't even know why he's going into depth about how much property they had. And then they want to get into the Tulsa, Oklahoma, when they burnt down the neighborhood for the African Americans that built that place up, and the white man couldn't stand it because it outshined him. When he said Native American Indian, see, they're taking our ancestors out of actual documented history, regardless to what the documents say about the records, that was an African American community. he's insisting on turning them into Native American Indians to justify his delusions. That's another thing he's doing, talking about the Indians and all this stuff. And the Indians had nothing to do. Why? Because it was in Oklahoma. Is that why he's saying that they're Indians? No, it's because he hates himself and he has to find that connection. And as far as this chromosome painting is concerned, this is called a chromosome painting. And it shows you the different people groups that rest on that particular chromosome. Why is he talking about? I'm sorry. He just slung a lot of words together talking about the chemical makeup of the person and
that's
walking.
That's not how it's explained. So he said 99.9% compatible, right? I said that. So that the differences that are made of these different sectors have something to do with these chemicals. So I'm trying to understand what chemicals. It's not chemical. It's the wrong word to use.
Yeah, because he said, if you notice, I started laughing when he was saying chemicals. I know that this is a chromosome painting. Well, they call it a chromosome painting. That's chromosome 1. And what they do is they're literally showing you the different people groups that show up on each chromosome. I don't know. When you start mentioning DNA and chromosomes, immediately these Albos and Wabos and these Hebrews, they get terrorized because now they're looking at something that's going to throw their asses right back into West Africa, and they can't negotiate it. So that's why he was okay. And then he was rambling and he was talking about people walking and not having enough food. Who's walking 1,000 miles? They're going to get hungry. They can't eat. They ain't got enough food. What does that have to do with this chromosome painting right here? Why is he talking about people walking and can't get food? Why is he doing that? You're showing him a crumb. Did you get a chance to explain to him in detail what this was showing, what it meant, what it was doing?
No, that was not on the panel for that. Monkey was trying to have a conversation.
Yeah, Guzman. Yeah, okay.
Because he's messing it up. But I just wanted your thoughts on it because this is what they do. This is how they mess with science.
They don't want to deal with this. And when they're faced with it, they get on the panel and they start hijacking, they overtalk. And the minute you start getting to a point where things are making sense and you're getting ready to miscombobulate their delusion, then they start cutting in and they won't let you talk. So when they see things like this, that's what this does. So now he's rambling about people traveling and going 1,000 miles and not being able to get food. That ain't got nothing to do with this chromosome painting right here. Absolutely nothing. Now, the chemicals you were talking about, no, it's not called chemicals. Now, we do have chemicals in our bodies, right? Like I know you have chemicals in the brain that control certain things, but as far as chemicals, the way I forgot how he put it, but it didn't.
Let me answer some of that. Right here. So baby, I'm gonna show my screen. Reach out just a second and I'm gonna answer some of that. All right, so I'm gonna skip down just so people know this is from the Human Genome Project, right? Just so you know. There you go. Keep it simple. The Human Genome Project has helped inform us about how remarkably similar all human beings are 99.9% at the DNA level. That's at the DNA level. Those who wish to draw precise racial boundaries around certain groups will not be able to use science as a legitimate justification. So they're telling you right now that race is a social construct and you can't use science to legitimize those boundaries. However, studying the 0.1% of the human genetic variations, that's what's missing from this conversation, is the variation, right? Particularly the distribution of a singular nucleotide polymorphism between affected and non-affected individuals was significantly informed biomedical researchers about the genetic contributions to complex diseases such as cancer, diabetes, mental illness. There's more, of course, etc. So we must all work together to ensure that the risks of such research are considered carefully and that the medical benefits are made available to all. That 0.1% is so significant in changing who we are, what, how people look, diseases that are may be hereditary in some people and may not be in others. The fact that you might be 40 years old, having an immense amount of heart attacks, or you don't, that 0.1% in your genome at the DNA level is efficient. The fact that he keeps talking about chemical compounds and things of that nature, that's no place to be inserting anything like that when you're talking about DNA. It has no place in the DNA discussion. He can't find a source that's going to talk about some type of chemicals and this, that, and the third. That's not it. He doesn't understand cells. He doesn't understand DNA. He doesn't understand chromosomes. And that is what Lucky is trying to illustrate here, that this conversation is way too advanced for him to be trying to cherry pick and converse about. Because when you're referring to genetics, it's one of the emphasis and facts of genetics is that it can inform us about your health. So again, that's the significance of DNA: health, family's health. Do you have a history of this health? And they can trace that junk all the way back to where they need to. And we keep talking DNA, but you also have to remember RNA is also important and could be equally more important than DNA in the building block of life. What you got to say?
No, because when you get on 23andMe, they have a section on 23andMe that deals specifically with it's called health traits. And they're using your raw DNA and your chromosome analysis and your chromosome painting. They're using that. They can look at your chromosomes and they can tell health traits, like you mentioned, cancer, like certain women, like, okay, let's take the Jews, for instance. Jewish women, they're known for having a certain type of breast cancer. They can get into your genetics and find that certain, I don't know if it's an allele or a SNP or whatever it is, it's something on that chromosome that Jewish women have for this particular type of cancer, and they can find that, but they're using your DNA and they're going by what they call your health traits. And you read those papers, they're very, very technical. This stuff, like what you read, is very technical. But I understand that they can use your DNA, your genetics, to find what you are prone. It's like preventative measures, like preventative medication, medicine. You know, you can use this information to find certain, I don't know, an allele or a SNP that will let these people know, look, you've got this sitting on this particular chromosome, and we know Jewish women get this kind of cancer. So I understand where you're going with this. I understand that.
All right, so I'm gonna read this just to be a little bit more clear about the 0.1%, which we can size up. Now, almost every cell in our body contains DNA, the genetic material that programs how cells work. That needs to be overstated. It is the genetic material that programs how your cells work. Any two people share on average 99.9% of their DNA, meaning that only 0.1% of your DNA is unique to you. We ain't got to go no further than that, ladies and gentlemen. The 0.1% is unique to you. It is what makes you, you. All right, now, meaning that only 0.1% of your DNA is unique to you. The only exception is identical twins who share 100% of their DNA. Each human cell contains 3 billion DNA base pairs. Our unique DNA, 0.1% of 3 billion, accounts to 3 million base pairs. That's more than enough to provide a profile that accurately identifies, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? A person. A person. Now, DNA is often left behind at a crime scene. It is presented in all kinds of evidence, including blood, hair, skin, saliva, and semen. Scientists can analyze the DNA and evidence samples to see if it matches the suspect's DNA. So this chart right here is letting you know 1, 2, 3. Right? If you just read them, DNA is made up of 4 bases: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, which are linked together in a strand. And I said that name wrong. I always say it wrong. Guanine or some shit like that. Now, 2 complementary strands then join together according to basic pairing rules. The AS of one strand pair with the TS of another strand, and the CS pair with the GS. You see it going on right there. The results is a double-stranded DNA molecule. This is way too advanced for someone who thinks that they're indigenous to the Americas and was born from the soil. Period, point blank. So I'm gonna stop right there. And what you guys say about that, Kim?
Okay, you mentioned that 0.1%. Now, I think with them, I think they get that confused because I've heard them say DNA, it's only 0.1% of your whole genome or whatever. And I think, I mean, I've heard them say that. I'm trying to figure out, okay, you take a DNA test, you give them your sample, and they're checking your whole genome. Why are they telling people that only 0.1% is what they use to tell who you are? So that 0.1%, like you said, is what makes you uniquely you. Okay, they're not picking that up, or either they're deliberately refusing to understand that's what makes you uniquely you. That is who you are. You can use DNA to pull, and you mentioned the RNA. Okay, I've heard some people mention that, but you don't hear RNA as much as you hear DNA. Okay.
Yeah. So in short, basically the 0.1% is what they're testing. If we're 99.9% the same, what makes us different is what needs to be tested. That testing that difference there, and that 0.1 is an indicator. That indicator tells the full story of you. So when they just try to dismiss this and say all this other bull jive, it has no relevance in the realm of science. It is actually pseudo, and it's crazy that they continue to do that. Now, how do they know that we're West African? At the end of the day, that's the challenge. They say the DNA is fake, but then they turn around and say DNA is in all of these other things. So their argument is from ignorance. What they need to know is that these people know. I want to pull something up, but I'm just sitting back because I had these sources and I shared one of them with my brother. I think he might TikTok about it. So I'm going to let him drop that information. But that 99%, since we're the same, so let's go test the differences. That 0.1% is going to tell us that, hey, here's your ancestry. This is what's going on. You got all these other things that are matching all these other people over here. But your differences is the fact that your story says this. Remember, I'm an African American, but I got a J marker in my hablo. And then I got an EM2 in my hablo. Not every African American have that. Some people got double EMs. Some people got L3s. Some people got L2s. Some people might have a whole nother hablo group on both sides, mother and father. So that 0.1 is saying, yo, Sean, your difference from your cousin is the fact that their parent or great grandparent on their father's side ain't like your great grandparent on your father's side. It's two totally different conversations that'll be had, because you have to remember you inherit your genetics, your admixture, all of that from your parents. And both of them don't come from the same place. And they got totally different stories. And the only thing that could mix that up like that is the infusion of a historical past of a Holocaust that people had endured that shines the light on that. And until they get that part, I don't think they want to get that part.
Oh wow, okay. So that I always thought I had started thinking that 0.1, that's where you get your haplogroups from. That's how they're able to pull your direct bloodline. That's what sets you apart from everybody else. Okay, because like you say, that 99.9%, okay, that's one thing. But that 0.1%, that's what makes you uniquely you. Okay, now what these people do is they take that information and they try to make it a negative. Okay, they try to, I don't even know how they twist stuff up. They take documented real research and twist it up so bad I can't even explain how because their minds are twisted. But they're using that 0.1 to try to say that's how they back up their teaching that DNA is false. Okay, but I do understand the importance of the health traits. That's very important, very important. They have some companies that specialize only in health traits, not Ancestry, but just your health traits. Because see, now from what I understand, they can snip some of that stuff out to prevent that from happening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's deep.
They can target the chromosome of where that deficiency is, and they can manipulate that area to prevent what you just basically said. So I'm gonna share again, and maybe this will help you on 23andMe. Well, no, for what? And let me take everybody here. Let me scroll up. So real quick, on 23andMe, you can either do it through search or you just got to know where to go. But it talks about getting started with the haplogroup reports, right? So it says the 23andMe haplogroup reports can shed light on the origins. Let me zoom in. Origins of some of our ancestors and their migrations over tens of thousands of years. Your maternal haplogroup report tells you about your maternal line ancestors from your mother through her mother and beyond. If you are a male, your paternal haplogroup report tells you your paternal line ancestors, your father to his father and beyond. Haplogroups are designed by detecting certain, here we go, genetic variants unique to each haplogroup. So about the haplogroup. Haplogroup is a term scientists use to describe a group of mitochondrial or Y chromosome sequences that are more closely related to one another than to other sequences. The term haplogroup is a combination of haplotype and a group. In this context, haplotype refers either to the DNA sequence of one's mitochondrial DNA, which is inherited from one's mother, or to the DNA sequence of one's Y chromosome, which is passed from fathers to their sons. Here we go. Due to their unusual pattern of inheritance, the mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome contain information about your maternal and paternal lines, respectively. But together, what do? Make up less than 1% of all your DNA and only represents a small fraction of your ancestry. Everyone can trace their maternal ancestry back to a single woman, but members of mitochondrial maternal haplogroup can trace their maternal ancestry back to more recent common ancestor, and the same applies to paternal ancestry and the Y chromosome for males. So the haplogroup type report provides haplogroup assignments, which allow you to trace your ancestry from your mother through her mother and beyond. For men, your father through his father and beyond. And then it goes down and it just gives you more an example of how it just breaks down. These are the things that we know, right? And it's the same for the father. These are the things that we know. But we know that the father, if there's a daughter involved, she can't get the father. She would need her brother to test to gain access to that information. If you understand that, some people might not understand that the way they talking in these YouTube streets these days, they don't understand that you can't inherit any of that. But that's a little piece. What you got to say to that, Ken?
No, I agree with that. I learned that. That's why I had my dad. I'm glad I had my dad take his test before he passed away. So yeah, because the father, the daughters, they don't get the paternal haplogroup. I got to get it through my dad or my brothers. Like right now, I need to know my mother's father's haplogroup. I'm gonna have to test my mother's her first cousin, because my mother's first cousin, his father, okay, is my mother's father. They're brothers. And they have the same parents. So this is how it works. When I test my mother's male first cousin, that's how I can go around getting my mother's father's paternal haplogroup. I have to do it that way. Got to go through her male cousin, because their fathers were brothers from the same mother and the same father. So yeah, people don't understand how that works. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And the mitochondrial, now, will a woman get her mother's? Because I heard that women get two of the X chromosomes. So you're going to get your mother's, of course, you're going to get your mother's mitochondrial DNA, her bloodline. And now the other one, from what I heard, I've seen it, women get two X's. Is that going to be coming from her? Let me see. My mom, like my mother. This is weird. My mother's came back, and of course, it had her mother's R haplogroup, but running behind there, L3 showed up. It's like, or do they run in pair? I mean, I don't understand how that L3 is running right close to my mother's haplogroup. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. The answer to your question is L3 is the out of Africa haplogroup. So there go your answer.
Yes, because L3, that's the one that leaked. Oh, the other one said, because that's where you get all the other mitochondrial haplogroups come from. L, because you got M, you got N and R, and then you got all these. Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up for me. I got that. Awesome.
Yeah, so L3 is responsible for populating the rest of the world. All other haplogroups are going to come back to L3. L2,
okay, yes.
L1, L2 stay on the continent. L4, 5, and 6 on the continent. It is L3 that leads. That takes a north trail and a south pattern. So those two halves branch out.
Mm-hmm.
Then they began to mutate it out, and now you start getting these other haplogroups coming from L3. So your story is going to speak to that because there are R's on both sides. So those R's, right, are coming from that L3. So think about this. You said your mother and father both had R. But your grandmother, correct me if I'm wrong, was it your grandmother or great grandmother?
My father's mother.
Okay, so your grandmother was L3. Wow, look how short that is. Just two parents off. You're R on both sides, but there's L3 behind the R. Hold on, I gotta look that up. Let me mute out. You can say whatever you gotta say.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, my father, he's R1B, and downstream RM269, downstream RS675. Boom. That originated in West Asia, around Turkey. And I actually have DNA from a man that they found a long time ago dead in Mount Ararat. Okay. So, and my mother, she's R, right around India and Iran. And then downstream, those women migrated and they went down into the Levant and they created H5H. And then they migrated again and went up into Central Asia, well, Central Europe, and created H536. All of that DNA, this is why I don't understand how come these people, but I know why they do it. But to say DNA is not true, it's a lie, that can't be true, because I can literally see my mother and my father's haplogroups and their migration. I can see where they started, I can see where they migrated, and I can see where they are today. All of that information plays out in my DNA reports. So that's why I have ancestry coming out of India, okay? And my father has ancestry coming out of India on his behalf. Anyway, I can see the African. I can see all of that because my father's mother, she's L3. I got some of that, all that African from her. Now, when I get my mother's father tested, I'm going to find out what his haplogroup is, because so far I've got these R markers and these J markers in my family. And I've got one African so far. So I'm going to get my mother's father's, I'm going to get his haplogroup. And I don't know what that's going to be. I have no idea, but I'll do that when the tests go on sale for the holidays. Right now, the holidays are coming. These DNA kits are going on sale. And another thing, when you don't stop at 23andMe, don't stop at Ancestry.com. There's a place online, it's called yourdnaportal.com. And they have a series of chromosome analyses that you can take to break down your DNA. They do health traits, and they do extensive DNA. It costs money. You're paying for technology, okay? You're not paying for what grandmama said. You're paying for science and technology, period. And they can get that raw DNA from 23andMe, and you download it onto onto yourdnaportal.com or trueancestry.com. You download your raw DNA from whoever you took your test with, and you download it onto one of those sites that provide chromosome analysis. These are real geneticists. They're not some nigga sitting up in a garage mad because he's African and he's gonna read and just change DNA to fit his delusions. These are real geneticists. They have they've been to school, they've been to college, and they set up these sites to further their research. That's what it is. And they make money, but the science is real, period. And you put your information into those, and they have different kinds of tests, okay? They have all kinds for Africa, Don't just stop at 23andMe. DNAportal.com has tests for Africa that they go into modern Africa, ancient Africa, Egypt, modern Egypt, ancient Egypt, North Africa, modern North Africa. They have tests for the Neolithic age, the Iron Age, Bronze Age, you name it. And for these abos out here, they have DNA tests that cover, you name the Indian group, Native American Indian group. This site, they have tests for all kinds of Native American Indian groups. If you have any Native in you, they're going to pull it out. But I see you're ready, so I'm going to let you go ahead. I see you're ready.
I don't know. Let me meet you out. Yeah, I'm gonna get to this real quick, but I wanted to, before I get to that, I was trying to find your video with your DNA on it. I want to show it. I think it's the one that says 81% sub-Saharan, right? It's this one. You're on mute. Before I get into this, I'm looking for the one where you show your egg mixture. Hold up, you on mute. You on mute. You on mute.
Oh man, I got so many videos. Man, I don't know which one it is. It's probably one of my early ones.
Okay.
If you go to that playlist called Kimberly's Chromosome Journeys, and all of them are in that playlist.
You said chromosome journey?
Yeah, Kimberly's Chromosome Journeys. It's a playlist, and I got a lot of videos in there, man.
Okay, I'm on here now.
And they're all there. Golly.
I'm gonna meet y'all real quick. All right, so this your pops. You say pops right here. 73% West African. I mean sub-Saharan, 64.4, 31% Nigerian. Okay, that's what I thought he would be. There's a closer look. Go down, show the, all right, okay. That's your father. Okay, so you're telling that story there. So here's your mother. Wow. Okay. So mama is 85.5% sub-Saharan with 72%, West African 38%, Nigerian. Okay. So father again. And then one more. All right, so this is the dispel the myth of everyone in the chat that love to see this. So I'm gonna unmute and I'm gonna let you talk about this.
Okay, that's me. And I've got it right here too. So basically, it's just telling you, that's just my breakdown, man. all that West African. And I'm right here right now. Hold on. I don't want to see that. Come on, the screen is locked up. Okay. It says Sub-Saharan African, 81.5%. West African, 67.4%. Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, 27.1%. Then it's got Liberia plus one region. Then we got Nigerian, and it's focusing on Katsina and Nigeria, 26.8%. Senegambian and Ghanaian, 2.9%. And that's where that's where the Wolof and the Fula people come in. Then it just says broadly West African, 10.6%. You got Congolese and Southern East African. That's 13.6%. That's where that Kenya and stuff's coming at. Angolan and Congolese, 12.0%. Southeast African, 0.4%. Broadly Congolese and Southern East African, 1.2%. Then you got the African hunter-gatherer, 0.1%. And then broadly Sub-Saharan African, 0.4%. That's what this is going through right here. Okay, then you got the blue section, Northwest, Eastern, Northwestern Europe, 16.1%. British and Irish, 14.9%. And then it says North Central England plus 21 regions. Then I found some more information. See, these things, it updates. And these abos, they like to use updates also saying that you fake because it's an update. French and German, 0.7. Broadly Northwestern European, 0.5. Ashkenazi Jew, 0.4. Broadly European, 0.3. Then you got East Asian. Now this is where this trace stuff is coming in. Trace is important. East Asian, 0.8. Filipino and Austronesian, 0.8. Broadly East Asian, 0.1. Then you got your trace ancestry. I'm going to go through, and you just showed the trace ancestry with that big purple section. Okay, my trace ancestry total is 0.5. Now, Indigenous American, 0.2. It's not much, but I know what it is and I know who it came from. Broadly West Asian and North Africa, 0.2. Broadly East Asian, 0.1, and then unassigned, 0.4. That's that big purple splotch, that right there, that's covering the North Africa and West Asia. This is where my mom and dad's haplogroups come from, okay? When you go all the way up to Turkey, up in here, that's where my father's haplogroup is coming from. My mother's haplogroup is coming from down in the Levant. So all this trace stuff that you see here, that's a pretty good reflection of my mom and dad's haplogroups. So don't tell me that this stuff is fake when I'm looking right at it. That's my mother's final clade of her mitochondrial H536. And they found that it's popular in Germany. And that's the migration pattern that they took coming out of L3 and hitting N and R and H. And I mean, it's all right here. And you know, there's something else I want to go into since you have this haplogroup up. I want to tell people, you got these people running around talking about I descend. They say, I descend from the Indians. Well, wait a minute. There's a difference. You can have admixture and be mixed with these Indians. That's one thing. But if you're telling me that you descend from these Indians, you need to be showing me your haplogroups. If you're telling me that you descend from a Native American Indian woman, I'm going to be looking for haplogroup A, haplogroup B, or X. One of those three. If you're telling me you descend from a Native American woman, if you're telling me that you descend from a Native American man, you better have that Q marker. They kind of play with R1V because of the European inception into that, but it's Q. So if you're running around telling people that you descend from Native American Indians, and you running around with these, with an E marker, E1B1A, and you got that L2, L0, your black ass ain't no doggone Indian. You West African. Now, if you say you are mixed with, you have Native American mixture, that's different. All you're doing is saying that your people mixed with these Indians, and that's what they did. So now you've got a certain amount of Indian admixture that's going to be on your, on that wheel with all the colors and numbers on it. So they want to sit here and tell you, and I'm going to tell you something else too, because when I took my heritage, this is my mother's haplogroup in detail. When I took my heritage, they come to find out that I have a certain percentage of Inuit ancestry. Okay, I read up on the Inuit. Let me tell you something. If you a nigga living in the United States and you're calling yourself an Aboriginal living in America, you can't do that. Because according to the United States Census Bureau, the U.S. Census Bureau, the Inuit, the Métis people, and the Eskimos, they are allotted the nomenclature of First People and Aboriginals, and they are protected under that. So black people in America calling themselves Aboriginal, you better have Inuit haplogroups, not admixture. I've got Inuit admixture. I don't have the Inuit haplogroups. So these niggas running around talking, I'm Aboriginal. You better be Inuit, and you better be showing your proof that you are, because these people, they're watching you. They're watching us. People watch us. So the Inuit, they have the Inuit, the Eskimos, and the Métis people of Alaska. These people are they're called First Peoples and Aboriginals. And I also have Aboriginal ancestry coming out of Australia. Okay. So when I'm hearing these niggas talking about their Aboriginals, they ain't showing no Aboriginal ancestry from Australia. They ain't showing no Inuit ancestry. You can use this to shut them down. As a matter of fact, when they come on your channel and they want to start asking all these questions, but they don't want to give any information, y'all need to just stop them from doing that. Don't let them on your channel unless they can answer. Show me your genetics. Show me your genealogy. If you can't show me that you have Choctaw coming out in your reports matching your genealogy, don't come on my platform asking me nothing. Because what I know, you have African Americans, they've got their DNA. They're showing their stuff on the internet. These monkeys ain't showing nobody nothing, but they come on your channel and they ask you all, well, what ship was they on? What year was it? You can answer those questions. If you have Ancestry.com, you can use your timelines to answer the questions of when these Africans got into your timeline, into your ancestry. That's what you have timelines for. When they start asking you all these old questions, go to your timeline and give them that number. Let them know, like me, with all these foreigners, my mom is from South Carolina. You had foreigners coming into South Carolina. All the Jews, and them Jews wasn't just going to New York. They wasn't just going up to the East Coast. They hit South Carolina. And when you say you have Jewish ancestry, you're talking about it's not just Jewish, because these Jews carrying Arab ancestry, they're carrying Gypsy ancestry. Wherever they traveled, they're carrying that information. And you can see it in my DNA videos. All you have to, man, you can track whatever you say, whatever your grandmama said you had, you get your DNA done and get a chromosome analysis. You can show that and you can track all of that and use your timelines to get that stuff locked in and show that to them. And when they start asking questions, no, you can't ask nothing. Don't ask nobody nothing. because you're not showing anything. Let me see you. That's what I did with Phoenix Moon. That's why she don't mess with me no more. She called me all kind of names. She called me Ugmo and goofy looking and everything. But she got triggered because she couldn't produce the genealogy and the genetics. When you stop them from producing genealogy, and when you force that on them and hold that to them, they run. I hate these people. I hate these Abos. I hate these Moors, and I hate these Black Hebrews. I hate them with a passion, and I'm sick of them. Y'all need to stop letting these monkeys on your platform, because they come on your platform, they hijack everything. And the minute information starts, the minute somebody starts bringing out information that can punch a hole in the crap they're talking, they double down and they really disrupt. I've heard them say it. This is what they say. Go on them Pan-Africans channels and start talking, hijack the show, and don't let them say nothing, because they know y'all show them respect. Stop showing them respect. These people are trying to tear down your ancestry. They're not your brother. They ain't cool with you. They ain't your bro. They ain't your sister. Quit calling them queen. These niggas ain't no queens. These females that hate themselves and are trying to get rid of my ancestors, that is not a queen. That is a freaking monkey. And they need to be stopped. If they want to come on your platform with all them questions, stop them at the door and say, you need to show me genetics and genealogy. If you can't do that, sit your ass in the doggone in the chat and don't say nothing. And the minute you even think about trying to type something, kick them out. Make them sit up and watch. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Get up, just pick a week and focus a video on real Native American Indians. Them red people with the long, straight, silky hair, they're terrified of those people, okay? These Abos, they're terrified of them. And when you showcase them and focus on them, they can't take it. They literally flip out because they're terrified of the real Native American Indians. You ought to do a show and focus, pick a group. Pick someone that they always talk about. Oh, I'm Choctaw. Okay, pick a Choctaw tribe. Pick one and do a show focusing on them, their culture, and all this stuff that they do. And what does it take to become a chief? Since you were big chief, this, that, and the other, what did you have to go through to be a chief? What kind of ritual did you go through to be a chief? What language was you speaking when you was going through your ritual? What line did you go through? You know, they're always asking us, what boat did you come off of and what year was it? No, nigga, you need to tell me this. What year was it? Since you've been here all the time, what year was it when your tribe knew that they was who they was? What was the name of the chief that named your tribe what he named it? You say you Kashada? Okay, who named you that? And what year was it when he realized he was a Kashada? Give me that year. You want to know what year my people got on a boat? Shit, what year was it when your people called themselves a Kashada, and what was the chief's name? Ask them that, and hold their feet to it. And don't let them on the platform. Don't let them say nothing until they answer that. They can't, because they're not from here. They can't answer none of that. And I'm gonna tell you something else they do that pisses me off. Oh, y'all was indoctrinated. And they say black preachers and white folks running around in America indoctrinating, teaching black folks that they're not native, teaching black folks that they are not, that they're African and they're not Native American. Okay, I got a question for that, because I've got a video on my channel, and I don't know if you can find it, but it deals with my ancestors that were definitely slaves. It's got their pictures, it's got their name and everything. And since you want to sit up in here and run around and tell me that white people and African-American Christian pastors was running around indoctrinating people, I don't know about you, but my ancestors from off the plantations in Virginia, number one, they wasn't able to go to school. How are you going to indoctrinate somebody in school when they ain't even allowed to go to school? They couldn't go to school. This is what I need to know. If any Abos are out there listening, you need to tell me, since my ancestors were indoctrinated and they were told this stuff by an African Christian priest, a pastor, and a white man running around spreading these lies. Tell me something. My father's ancestor was a slave on a plantation in Virginia. She never told us nothing about, that her story never included nothing about a white man and a black preacher walking around the plantation because they couldn't go to school against the law. There's nothing in history about any black preacher and a white man walking around on the plantation teaching these slaves that they were from Africa. Okay, what was the name of the organization of the preacher and the white man? What was the name of their organization that went around teaching this stuff? What were they called? What years did they do this? From what time frame were they running around on these plantations teaching black folks that they were not Native American Indians, that they was from Africa? And what were their names? Give me one name of one black preacher and one white man running around in America on plantations and in schools teaching Negroes that they are from Africa and indoctrinating them. If there's any abos out there, can you explain to me who these people are? What are their names and what time frame? What plantations did they go to? Huh? How often did they do this? I need some names. I need some dates. Teach me, because my ancestors on my mom and my dad's side, none of them left down any stories telling nothing about no black preacher and no white man running around teaching them that they ain't African, that they're not Native American Indian, that they are really African. Don't know nothing about that. I need two things from them, these abos. Number one, the next time you show up on somebody's channel talking crap, before they even let your black ass on the station, you better come with genealogy and you better come with genetics, and you better have it done. You better tell these people what your grandmama said, and you better back it up with genetics. If you can't meet those standards, your black ass don't need to be on the goddamn on the goddamn channel. You don't need to be in the chat saying nothing. You don't need to be asking nobody nothing, because you can't put out nothing. Number two, you need to tell me, since you've been here, give me the goddamn name of the Indian chief that named you Kashada. And what year did he give you that name? When did he become aware of himself? When did your people become aware of themselves, that they knew that they was Kashada? What year was it and who said it? Give me that name and give me that date. And then number three, give me the name of the MFs running around on these plantations teaching my ancestors that they ain't from America, that they but you really came from Africa. I don't know. That's nowhere in my records. My people there's nothing. My mother didn't tell me nothing like that. Her mother didn't bring nothing like that. None of that mess happened. None of that exists. So maybe you can tell me, give me the name of the motherfuckers running around on these plantations teaching my ancestors where they came from. What's their name and what year? If you can't do that, your asses don't need to be on nobody's platform telling nobody nothing, because all of your sources are clandestine. Every time, y'all need to stop letting these monkeys sit up on your channels reading all these old clandestine books. These books that they read and all this old crap they read, that shit is outdated. They're reading books from the 1500s, 1600s. This is 2023, doggone it. We have science and technology. Quit running around telling people what the Negro and playing with all these words, reading these goddamn books that are so freaking old, you can't even vet this shit. Stop letting these monkeys on your channels with this old, outdated information. Stop doing that. Keep them off your keep them off your platform. Don't let them on, because they hijack and they're spreading like roaches. What does this say? Abos have no answers, just questions. That's why you ought not to let these monkeys on your doggone channel, because they don't believe in documented history. They don't believe in archaeology. They don't believe in anthropology. They don't believe in archaeogenetics. They don't believe in genetic genealogy. All they believe in is my grandmama said. But when your ass said what your grandmother said coming from Africa, all of a sudden genealogy don't matter no more. F y'all. F all y'all self-hating, you black ass MFs. All y'all black ass abos out there. F all of y'all. I hope y'all go to hell. I can't stand you. I can't stand looking at you. You make me sick. You need to get, you know what? I done raved and ranted. I literally hate these people. I hate you. I hate all of you. I hate the Moors. Dulcinea can kiss my ass and go to hell the long goddamn way. Kiss my ass. Captain Tazariak, you need to be taken up out of here. They need to find your ass somewhere, steamrolled somewhere. You motherfucker, you yellow ass son of a bitch. I can't stand Captain Tazariak. I can't. And that top cat, whatever that nigga, this nigga is a grown man, a grown freaking man. He's running around with, he's bagging and sagging. This is 2023, nigga. Put your fucking pants up. You ain't no doggone Indian. You're running around and going to Mexico. Why are you taking pictures of statues of Aztecs and calling them your goddess? Show me your Mexican ancestry. My 4 times great-grandmother, her name is Sarah Hilliard Fernandez. Her father's name was Johnny Fernandez. They entered into my family line around the late 1700s, just before the end of the Civil War. That woman, they had children. Sarah Fernandez had children. She had a daughter. One of those daughters hooked up with one of those men in my mom's family, the Lindsays. Okay? So now you got this Mexican stuff going on in my family because I tracked it back to my 4-time great-grandmother. That's why when I do a chromosome analysis, I got Mexico showing up. That's where that's coming from. It's not because I made it up, because I'm giving you the name of my 4-time great-grandmother, and it was down there in South Carolina, Union City, Jonesville, Union County, South Carolina. They're down there in Spartanburg, and they're still there to this day. That's why I got the Fernandez. That's where the Mexicans coming from. I have Aztec ancestry, and I can prove it. I know the names of the people that gave it to me. You running around calling yourself Aztec and showing all these old pictures and all these videos with a bunch of niggas that don't even share your genetics. Just because they're dark, look at me. I look like you. I'm dark. I don't have your genetics. It's just that simple. DNA is real. It's real. Y'all can't prove nothing. Golly, they make me so sick. Y'all need to just try that. Just try that. The next time you have a show and them monkeys show up, put standards on them. Make them those 3 things that I mentioned. Before they crack their mouth to say one thing, you put your foot up their ass and make them answer those questions. If they don't, get the hell off the channel. Get the hell up out of here and don't come back. Make them stay on their own channels because they're making us look like fools out here. People are talking. You got that nigga, his name is the research guy. He's turning all of our elders into freaking Native American Indians. Get out of here. They need to find that nigga somewhere balled up. Anyway, I'm done ranting. I hope I didn't get your show.
Well, no,
I hope they ain't.
I'm gonna meet you out, Richard. So I was gonna ask you if you had any closing statements to say me into the stream, but I think that you kind of you let that out. So I'm glad you got that out. You know what I'm saying? You feel better?
Oh, there's a lot more, but I'm gonna deal with it a different way.
I got you. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on to the platform. You know, continue to do your job, your work, and we'll be here in support and fighting the same fight.
Yep.
I hope everybody learned something from this interview today, because it is promising, and we have a lot of work to do. Those of us who are committed to the fight and correcting misinformation as we go. So I appreciate you coming on. Tell people where they can find you one more time on all your socials, and then we're gonna get up out of here.
You got me muted? Okay. My main channel is Kimberlyz World, spelled with a Z, Kimberlyz World. It's a small channel. It's got all kind of stuff going on over there. My other channel is West African Witch, and that's just all about my spirituality, talking about, you know, things that I do as a witch, going into you know, just witchy stuff, you know. And my other channel, we are Bantu girls. That's where I'm battling the Hebrews, fighting them, trying to preserve the African history and culture of the Bantu speakers of us here in North America and the Bantus over there in Africa. Because now these Hebrews, now they're actually in Africa teaching this stuff. So now you have Africans on the continent mad at me because I'm showing with proof, modern research papers and work, that the Bantu speakers never originated from Palestine. I mean, I don't know. My haplogroup goes back there. My haplogroup is not Bantu. So I know what I'm talking about. And I've got the books. I'm reading the book. I've got research papers, and I'm sharing it on that channel, and I'm catching hell. But hey, I shut them up. I shut them down. Because real quick, before I go, the way I shut them down, because they're coming on there and they're giving me all these long Bible scriptures to read. Well, the Bantus, well, see, we're Jews. And then they give me all of this, all of these scriptures in the Bible breakdown and this, the change. I'm like, look, okay, I listen to them, and then I read all that stuff. I let them go. And at the end, I say, do me one favor, just one thing. I want you to show me, give me the name of the sub-Saharan African priests, scribes, and sages, sub-Saharan African, that put together the book that you read. You got that Bible, you got the King James, and you're doing the Torah, you're doing all that stuff. Okay, we're sub-Saharan Africans. You need to give me the names of the scribes and the priests and the sages that put those books together in sub-Saharan Africa. Since you're telling me it's an African book, and I need the languages that they use, and I need the time frame. See, y'all did this to me. I'm doing this because I've been listening to y'all. And when I do that, they can't answer me because those books are not African. Those books have nothing to do with Africa, not our area of Africa. And they can't provide me with that information. So that's what Bantu Girls is all about, fighting them and trying to stop them from give the history and culture of the Bantu speakers over to the Jews of Palestine. And that is it. I thank you for letting me come on here. I hope I didn't get you any trouble. I'm an ex-soldier, okay? I'm ex-army girl. So we did a lot of drinking and cussing. I hope I didn't get you in any trouble. But I thank you for letting me come on here. And I will be watching your channel and stuff, okay? Cool. Really appreciate it.
No problem, Kim. We appreciate you tapping in. Everybody else, man, make sure that you like, share the show. Hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, no, you didn't give me in no trouble. So yeah, we enjoyed it, appreciate it. Go back, rewatch the show. That's it, man. I appreciate you coming out. Everybody, like, share, subscribe. Look for more work in the future. Kimberlyz World, appreciate you. Thank you for tapping in and coming out. You have a good rest of your evening. And we are out.
We are the victims of our own innocence. We didn't expect it. We were so unsuspecting. Some of us participated in it without knowing what we were doing. And to understand it, there's 200 years of history you're going to have to look at. 1400 to 1600. It's the major turning point in world history. At the end of these 200 years, the world would never, ever be the same again. Europe had come out of its bag. It had rescued itself at our expense. It had learned longitude and latitude again. Had learned how to handle ships. They had, in their search for Asia and the spices and the sweets of Asia, they had discovered Africa en route, the greater prize. We are the victims of our own innocence. We didn't expect it. We were so unsuspecting. Some of us participated in it without knowing what we were doing.
Big die, I got the game on the chokehold like a slip knot. Too much ambition, I got too much drive. I'm probably due for a pitch stop. Black dot, reppin' the team, reppin' the squad like a mascot. Yeah, I'm the one, you know that I got it, but I still speak for the have-nots. Big guy, I got the game on the chokehold like a slip knot. Too much ambition, I got too much drive. I'm probably due for a pitch stop. Black dot, reppin' the team, reppin' the squad like a mascot. Yeah, I'm the one, you know that I got it, but I still speak for the have-nots. Yeah. It's been a hell of a run. I done bagged all of the women I wanted to bag. I probably should slow down and settle with one. Probably should hit up my mama and tell her my problem. She always wanna pray for her son. Tell her I got it, there's nothing your God could do for me. I feel much more safe with a gun. Look what I've done, just look at what I've become. They thought I was stuck in the mud, I done came up. They got up here like I weigh, I made them double the funds. Niggas be hating, probably cause they wifey like me and she wanna give me the buns. She got a friend, told her that she can come too because two heads is better than one. My competition is none.